That's your life.
Hello and welcome to the virtual nature school. Here I am sitting in the nest, really excited about hearing all today. We've been looking at stones, rocks, and metals. We're going to be looking at something slightly different and enjoying the joy of telling stories. But today, of course, is the day when our museums, our collections are going to share. To do that. At the lovely to see that people are giving me some comments in my chat box. That's always really good to see. So good morning to you, Mary. It's really good that you've sent me a message. So without further ado, thank you, Rachel. We're going to get going and have a little look at our morning film. Remember is that a lot of these inquiries go on and on and on. So it might well be that you haven't had a chance to do some of these things, and that's just fine. It will fill your head with all sorts of ideas that you can do in the weeks ahead. So let's have a little bit of a think about what kind of things we've been exploring. Well, we've been looking in our memory books and our learning journals, and we've been talking about making trump games now with the idea of using rocks. We've been making all sorts of games like chess boards and checker games. We've had a go at doing tic-tac-toe. We've even gone so far as to make beautiful rock buns and rainbow crystals. So such a wide range of different things we've been looking at. We've been designing. We've been thinking about our games, and then we went on to make them. We've drawn circles using a piece of string. We've put numbers in our circles to give us scoring systems. We've made towers. We've had a go at aiming, and we've had a go at throwing. Some of us have been near water, and we've been able to have a go at skimming stones. So lots of physical play all happening outside, which is fabulous. Some of us have decided to look at the idea of research, and so we've been making up our trump cards using the idea of all the different types of rocks. We've been researching how to make a chessboard, how to make a matching game, how to actually work out what the grid looks like underneath a checkers board. So huge amounts of counting, huge amounts of maths, drawing and playing, always got to be part of our play and our inquiry. So I wonder what we should be doing. And if you remember, we talked about some of us making museums, where some people have decided to make other things, and that's just fine. But really the bit that we haven't really explored is the idea of stories. And for us, stories are really, really important. So what we're going to have a go at doing is using our stones in a story. It might be that we paint our stones to give ourselves the characters, but however you make up your story, you might want to go forward and look at some of the ideas that we're going to share with you right now. So stones are fabulous surface because you can draw on them with pens. You can draw individual items on a stone and then line them up to tell a story. You might decide to get a little box and put in some special felt pens so that you can take that with you and take your special story stones with you as you go on a lovely walk. And then when you sit down, you can get out your story stones, put them in a line and tell the story just using the pictures and patterns that you've made. Some people really enjoy paint, and so taking your paints outside means that you limit the mess inside your house, but it's also lovely to be outside in all that fresh air. So we've got some help right now from two older members of our little community who are going to share with you their top tips on how to paint a rock. They've created this film all by themselves, and so I hope you enjoy it.
I'm Ola, and today we're going to be teaching you how to learn to rock paint. So first, you have to find a rock. It's the best rock is usually a flat one, so it's going to have a look. Oh, that's one. It's a nice flat one. So now we're going to wash the rock. So you might want to get some water and give it a little scrub. It's going to get it nice and shiny when we've painted our rock. Next, we have to paint our rocks. So I'm going to use this lovely rose red. And this nice green. We've used acrylic paint, but you can use whatever else you want. So now we are going to varnish our rocks, because if it starts raining like it is now, it'll make the paint run, and we don't want that. We also are going to need an adult for this, because when we're using varnish, it can get very messy. Here are a few examples of what they might turn out to look like. Now you can put your rocks in your garden or in your house. I'm going to put it in our house so it stays nice and dry. Clean up against there.
Thank you to Coralie and Orla for creating that very informative film. When you come to explore and share your beautiful rocks, you might decide to make yourself a little bit of an art gallery and lay them out, whether it's inside or outside. You might decide to give them a background. And so this picture's shown that they've made the fish out of stones, but then they've made a little background with shells and some sand. So you can actually make a full picture, or you could just use your stones. Sometimes it's lovely to use different materials, and you might decide that you want to put Play-Doh on your rock to make it into a character that you can then use in your story. It might be this is Mr. Shelley, and he's got 3 friends who've got lovely coloured hair. Books and stories are one of the most magical things, because in a storybook, it can take you into places that you can't get to easily. You can imagine that you're riding on the back of a dolphin. You could find a unicorn who is running across the paddock towards you. You could stretch your arms in the air and be lifted up by a dragon. Everything is possible in a good story. So don't limit your imagination. Allow yourself to think of all of those wonderful things that you could put into a story. You might be somebody who really enjoys making stories and writing books, in which case you might have a go at bending some paper and having a go at making your own storybook, all about the rock people or the trolls or a magical rock that's been trapped under a tree for 100 years. Books don't need to be big, and if you really like the idea of making your miniature museum, you might like to make a little miniature book to go in it. These little tiny books are only just a size of a postage stamp, and so it's very easy to draw and fill lots of those little books if you like writing and building and making. You might decide to do some baking, and this is the idea that's come from Duncan's family, who decided with a very good idea to make rock buns. So we are coming towards the end of this inquiry, and as I've said, some bits of it will carry on. But we've had the moment where we've looked at all of the different things that we can do with rocks. We've got pictures here of people making a rock shop, which I think is a super idea. People have been building up their collections, if you like. So we've got people who've made like a rock maze. We've got people who've made museums and made their sorting boxes. They've made shelves and labels. And then we've got people who've very carefully presented different coloured rocks and shaped and thought about colour. So it's a bit of a celebration, and often what we do in our inquiries is that we build for that last day. So it could be that you decide to put out your museum or your collection of rocks, and you might decide to do yourself a little film. You might decide to invite somebody in your house to come and look at your rock collection. I look forward to seeing you in the virtual classroom and celebrating all the different things that we've been learning about. I'll see you then. All sorts of things there, stories. And so it's lovely that we've got all these different ideas, and it's super that people are leaving me a little message. So we're thinking, thinking about making rock buns with rock. What a great idea. We're going to try and finish off our museum. We've got friends in Fife, friends over in Grief, that's great. We've got friends coming to us from all over Scotland. And so wherever you are, it'll be a really good chance to really celebrate everything that you've been looking at in the stories. Chat to me. I'm really interested to hear everybody. And Sky, do you want to talk to everybody today? Are you ready, Sky? Yeah, would you like to talk? Okay, good morning, Sky. How are you?
Fine. I didn't do anything pretty much yesterday, and even I didn't do anything today. And that's a tiny little crystal there. Can you see it? Over here, down over there.
Tiny, just move your hand.
Oh, there it is. I see it.
Form around here.
Just beginning to form around the edge of your lovely pot.
But not the Play-Doh is not forming to be it, but later soon.
Yeah, later soon it might well begin to form. And so you're being very patient with your crystal, which is really good.
Yes.
Really good.
I can even wet. I even can wet every time. And I think it's going to form now. But if it's soon forming, and then it will form into the crystal. And I think we're going to see the crystal whenever it forms. And we have to check tomorrow if it not form or yes.
Okay, good idea. So you can always talk to me about that next week, because we finish our inquiry this week, but we'll be carrying on next week, looking at lots of other different things, but we can still keep talking about your crystal. And so it might be that it takes 2 or 3 weeks to actually grow. And that's okay, because sometimes you have to work in nature time, which can be quite slow time. So do you think you might tell some stories? Because you're already really good at drawing on your rocks, because you did the amazing pineapples.
I did make a farm pineapple, which is kind of some doggies taking care, and the bunny's taking care, and my dog Bunny's taking care too.
Of the other ones that were there. That's great. So you might want to decide to make yourself a little tiny book of your story. You might want to do one of your lovely films again of a different story. So today is the day for telling stories, for doing some more art, and what the day holds outside. All right, I'll leave you there, Sky, and you enjoy that breakfast, and I'll catch up with you later on. All right, everybody. Any more ideas from Scotland? You put them into the chat box of things you want to do. Otherwise, I think people are going to be making rock bands with rock music. I think they're going to be filling off their music, making this. If you decide that you want to then you need to work with your parents, drop an email, share it. You've got a huge amount of skills and knowledge that you can share. So if that inspires you, then by all means get involved and share your thinking through film. All right, my friends, I look forward to seeing some of you later on, and always looking at your beautiful photographs that you share with me to virtual next school. Bye-bye.